2023 Toyota Tacoma features that just make sense. We need these. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. That's right, there are 9 features that should be in the new redesigned 2023 Toyota Tacoma. Now, I say 2023 loosely, because honestly, I think it's probably going to be more like 2024 before we have a redesigned Toyota Tacoma. But anyway, there are 9 features that I think should be included. They just make sense. Number 1, a built-in cell phone holder. Why doesn't the Tacoma have a built-in cell phone holder? You know, cell phones are such a common part of life these days that I would think it should be something that is included. Something up in the dash area that doesn't take your eyes off the road, that's up there where you can kind of glance at it if you wanted to, for instance, if a call comes in or who knows, anything. Something kind of in the radio area. You know, we have the radio screen there. Why not have a built-in cell phone holder like right beside it? You know, I installed one in the truck myself. I love it. It's a magnetic style, and it's perfect where it is, right up in the dash on the Toyota Tacoma. Number 2, I was thinking about this one the other day because I never can remember what the date is. You know, if you're at the bank or you're going to write a check, you know, those old paper things that we used to use to transfer money, and you want to know what the date is, there's nowhere in the Tacoma on the screen that shows the date. We've got the time, we've got the little cell phone symbol, the Wi-Fi connectivity thing if you're connected, all that stuff. But why isn't there a date right next to the time? Doesn't make sense to me. It'd be easy to do, shouldn't cost a fortune. We have dates in all kinds of other electronic devices out there. Why doesn't the Toyota Tacoma radio have a date in it? A very simple thing. Number 3, a real safe tire jack. Now, I know a lot of you agree about this because a lot of people have complained about it as well when I've done videos on it. You know, that nasty jack that we have in the Tacoma is scary to use. Especially if you're out somewhere and the ground isn't exactly perfect. Maybe you're on gravel. It's just so small, so cheap looking. I've often worried when I've done videos on it that it was going to fail while I was actually doing the video. And while that may make great content, wouldn't be so good for me when I drop the truck without a tire on one of the corners. We need a real substantial tire jack. Now, going on with that, number 4, a Tbar. Do you know what a Tbar is? It's exactly that. It's a T, and it has different ends on it for different size lug nuts. That's not what's important because you're probably only ever going to have one size lug nut on your Tacoma. But what is important is the leverage you can gain by using those things. Try using one of those versus one of those single end wrenches that you put on and you kind of have to. Most people probably use their feet. They stomp on it because typically the lug nuts are on so tight, it takes a gargantuan feat of strength to get them off. But a T-bar is much better. It gives you 2 points of leverage that you can turn. They even have collapsible ones, so it could easily be stored next to the hopefully more robust jack in the truck. Number 5, the sunglass holder. Why do we have that thing? Nothing I ever have fits in there. You try to put your sunglasses up there. They don't fit. They're scraping around. They bounce all over the place. Certainly we could get something better, or if we can't, then do away with it altogether and put something else there. Do you guys use that sunglass holder that comes in the Toyota Tacoma? I'd be curious. Leave a comment. Number 6, a heads-up speedometer. I love that feature. I've actually only had one vehicle that had it in it. That was a Corvette. That should be in every vehicle. Just a little digital looking display that's right up there in front of you on the windshield. Because I would say that besides cell phones and the radio, that's probably what most people look at most often. Let's keep our eyes on the road. Why not have a little display projected right up there on every vehicle just for safety concerns? I mean, they tell me I have to wear a seatbelt, right? Number 8, an auto down tilting driver's side, and why not, passenger side mirror. You know, you can't see anything. When you're trying to pull up to something, the mirror is positioned in such a way, which I understand it is how it has to be, but why not have it electronically tilt down so you can actually see what you're pulling up against? Or at least have some sort of a button, switch, something that activates that to tilt it down so that you can see when you're pulling up to things. Wouldn't that be nice to save your rims, wheels? I don't know how many curb-rashed wheels and rims I see out there, but I gotta think that's just because people can't see where they're going. So they take a leap of faith, they back up, and then they've ruined their wheel. Next up, number 9, a permanent auto stop button. I had that it was actually a Porsche. It was a Porsche Cayman, I think it was. A button that you push one time, it deactivates auto stop, because let's face it, we're gonna have auto stop in the redesigned Toyota Tacoma, in the 2023-2024 Tacoma. It's coming. Give us the option to turn that thing off permanently if we want to. Not having to remember to hit a button every time you get in the truck and have to screw with that. Just one time if you want, and it's permanently off. Now, I do have one bonus here. Another thing I was thinking of as I was looking at the gauge cluster in my Tacoma were all these gauges that don't mean a whole lot to me anyway. And I saw the oil pressure gauge. Does anybody really use an oil pressure gauge? That should be an oil level gauge. I want to know where the oil is in my truck. In other words, I want to know if it's high, low, if I need to add some. Just a quick glance, kind of like a fuel gauge. You know, you just take a glance at the fuel gauge, you know if you need to get gas or not. And take it a little bit further, I'd like to see it as a digital display. In other words, lit lines that have a range where it's full, an acceptable level, and then maybe another little area where it says add oil or something like that, just so you can keep an eye on it. No more guessing games, no more hoping it's full or having to jump out and pull the stick out 15 times and wipe it off. And speaking of that oil stick, can you even read yours? You know, today's oil is so thin, it doesn't stick on there very well, and you can't even see it. I've had this many times. And if you can't give us an oil gauge, you know, a level gauge, then at least give us an oil stick that we can read. Something when you pull out that you can see. I don't know. Pretty simple things. These are things that I think the 2023 Toyota Tacoma should have. Features that just make sense. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of my little list. I'd be curious to know. Also, don't forget, smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. I do have 2 additional channels. RobMotive FST, all about full-size trucks. And RobMotive JT, all about the Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.